versus 2-0. Something's going to give, and no matter what, Stromboli's just going to be watching this match going, yeah, well, that's one less that we got to worry about because they're well on their way towards 9-0 if they can continue on. So everybody else in the league watching this wondering, all right, who's going to come down a little bit? Who is going to be in danger of falling down towards us for that number 3 spot?
And this is one of those things where we're talking about how good these teams are playing and what they've been doing right. But again, it is against the bottom 3 teams. So you take a loss here. Now, are you still middle of the pack or upper? Or are you now battling to keep yourself in the middle of the pack and just maintain until next season?
And every game, oh so significant, as we have seen tiebreakers make all the difference over the past several seasons of the Rival Series. You can't afford to make even one mistake and let one game slip away. Freshness almost scores, and then J-Russ bangs the same side of the post. They don't convert there, and that's one that Mirage, if they don't come away with a goal here, even after the demo on Percy, they're going to be kicking themselves, and they, in fact, do not. Intercepted by Percy at midfield. They haven't broken the zone, though. Omni Nation still forced to play a lot of defense. That shot just barely off the mark by J-Russ, and it really feels like the post and the area just outside the post are doing a lot more defensive work than Omni Nation is right now.
Yeah, no. Player 4, 5, and 6 are putting in work right now, and it's definitely going the way of Mirage thus far. These saves that have been made so far by Omni have been absolute scrambles for the ball. They've been very close to going in.
So still somehow no goal for Mirage, despite all the effort that they've put in the first minute and a half. Now we'll see if Omni Nation can get anything going with their trip into the offensive zone. It'll be Freshness lobbing one up for Luke. That is intercepted. They took far too long to get started, and Magic Bear comes in with a clubbing blow.
He brings the magic as he takes that one off the back wall to himself, right around J-Russ, and gets it in just under the bar.
Well, that is great stuff from Magic Bear, and it's exactly what Omni Nation needed. An intercept at midfield. It leads to 1 goal and a chance at another off the kickoff, though that'll be easily set away by Freshness. And now back the other way. This is going to be Magic Bear again. This time he has the ball taken away from him. Don't make the same mistake twice. But J-Russ gets knocked into the air. I think it was Magic Bear that got a piece of him, and Percy will walk it home.
And there is absolutely nobody there. Yeet. Defender out the way. Walks it in for Percy. That's got to be the easiest goal of his life.
That's just one of my favorite things to see, too. As soon as you start to jump, and just before you jump, you get nudged a little bit, and you just see the boost trail go flying away.
You just get thrown to Narnia.
It's like watching a cartoon character in a rocket pack that malfunctions, and they just start flying all over the place.
Wile E. Coyote, his rocket just went haywire on him.
Now Jordan, just trying to stand his ground short of midfield. Omni Nation has jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Mirage doesn't seem to have an answer. J-Russ, big clear downfield. He's got Freshness down there, but Freshness does not have a line on the ball. Only one defender to beat. It's Luke, and he does at least stop Magic Bear from scoring his second goal. Now Jordan, just barely missing. Follow-up from Percy. He has his second.
And the defensive scrambles has switched sides as this is getting out of hand right now for Mirage. Omni now up 3-0, and they are now scrambling themselves on that goal line, just trying to get a piece of the ball. It felt like early in the match, that was definitely Omni that was in that situation, and I think that the itch to try and get a goal got to Mirage, and they started playing aggressive, and another one almost goes in here.
Well, better to be lucky than good, and Mirage is lucky that they did not give up a 4th goal. Another lopsided game 1. It looked like it was going to be all Mirage if the first minute was any indication. But you play 5 of them, and the other 3 so far, the other 2 so far, have been dominated by Omni.
Here's the question, though. You dominate round 1, can you keep it going? Because the story so far today has not been true that that's the case. Many times, the guy that's taking down this first game is dominant, and game 2, the other team figures them out. They're going to need to stay consistent.
Well, there's one there on the board from Mirage, and not a moment too soon, as finally J-Russ catches this feed from Freshness. That's a brilliant ball, and perfectly placed. So J-Russ gets Mirage on the board on their 6th shot here in game 1. Will their 7th get them one closer? No, that's gonna be set away. It was off the hood of Luke. Luke circling back, and now he's gonna be called on defensively. So too is Russ, and he does make the stop. Now J-Russ and Freshness trying to, well, it was either a double commit or you could give them the benefit of the doubt that they're trying to pinch that downfield. Regardless, result unsuccessful. And back the other way comes Omni Nation, just trying to stall out even at midfield and make it that much tougher for Mirage to get back into this game.
Pretty dangerous on that stall out. They had all three players committed to mid. Had anybody gotten a touch on that ball and it got around them, there was nobody there for defense.
45 seconds and counting. Another ball cleared all the way down to the Mirage end. Freshness by 1. He's actually around a second as well, but that ball just rockets out all the way to the opposite corner. And after all that work, it's all for naught. Another floater dished off to the corner by Percy. Freshness taken out of the play. And if it wasn't difficult enough, they have to start this counterattack with 2. And I don't know what that was, but whatever it was effective, as the ball stays on the side of Omni Nation, and that will do it. 3-1 in game 1, and Omni Nation looked really good in the middle of that game, and that's where they made their bread and butter.
Yeah, middle of the game was all Omni Nation. Started off a little shaky, saw them scramble to save a few goals. Couple shots coming off of defender 4, 5, and 6 on the post and the crossbar. But Omni really kind of found their pace and their stride there throughout the middle of the game. Mirage, though, towards the end, started cleaning up a lot. They got a goal. They started slowing things down. They didn't let any other balls get past them. Might be indicative of what we start to see as we go into game number 2.
You mentioned it a moment ago, defenders 4, 5, and 6. If you haven't picked up by now, we're talking about the post and the crossbar. And early on in that game, Omni Nation, they weren't playing a whole lot of defense. They were stuck in their defensive zone, but they weren't playing a lot of defense. It was Mirage that was taking shot after shot well wide off to the right. Any Buffalo Bills fans are probably getting PTSD at that point. And after Omni weathered the storm, they came down and took over. Those missed opportunities by Mirage, boy, they've got to be kicking themselves after all that.
So Omni only actually had one more shot from the point that they were up 3 once that shifted over. The number of shots actually went way in favor of Mirage. They did get outshot, so interesting stat from last week, most shots per game going the way of Mirage. They were shooting about 10 or 11 shots a game. This time it's actually going the side of Omni, but it felt like it was starting to go the way of Mirage in terms of the number of shots. I'll be interested to see if this defense or this offense can get going on the Mirage side.
Well, if you shoot enough, you will eventually score, and it did not take long. J-Russ, 11 seconds in, just what the doctor ordered.
J-Russ with 2 shots in the opening 14 seconds, 1 off the backboard and 1 in the net.
And so that's the challenge out for Omni Nation. They got away with that in game 1. They did not get away with it to start game 2, but can they answer just as they did all of that pressure in game 1? They certainly can, though Percy not up fast enough. So this will be brought right back into the zone. Omni Nation now on the attack, looking for an early equalizer. That's well read as ball dunked back in by Magic Bear. Freshness didn't get all of this ball, so he couldn't clear. Woo. Percy goes around the defense, but Luke was still there. A very clever play to work around the defense, indirectly passing to himself, but still denied at the end.
Couple cheeky touches coming out of both Percy and Magic Bear. Nothing to come from them, but you could see it shake the defense, and the defense scrambling to try and get to where they needed to be. You do that enough, eventually you'll sneak through.
Percy backflips. It's an opportunity now with numbers for Mirage. That lone number at the back has been wiped out, but nobody took the ball, so Percy will take over. No boost, no problem, but that's saved away by Luke. Now Magic Bear, he was looking for Percy, but Percy didn't commit to the play. Back it goes, and that's easily guided to the side by Percy. Now Luke trying to pick his spot, but all he finds is Percy.
Nice second effort there from Percy, unfortunately not able to make contact, but I am a man that likes watching the effort.
So far, how would you grade the effort of Omni Nation as they try to get back into this game? That shot just barely missing, almost doubling the lead for Mirage.
The effort, fantastic. We'll give it an A. The execution, a little less so, somewhere around a C. They're not, unfortunately, they're getting some of these nice touches. They're just not able to actually convert them into any tangible stat.
Well, we are in the middle of the game where Omni dominated and grew their lead to an insurmountable number in game 1. Can they do it again here in game 2? Get back into this, answer the very early goal scored by J. Russ and Mirage. All the way across to Magic Bear, and his weak side shot is set away by Freshness and Luke. Still kept in the zone, but swept away by J. Russ as he cleans up the mess. Now a drive, saved by Magic Bear, but he goes right to Luke. And this is a great attack by Mirage. They're covering left, right, and middle. There is nowhere for Omni Nation to clear this ball away. They keep trying and failing. Now finally they do, and Jordan got just enough on this.
I love what Percy's doing right now. He is so quick. He's getting a ton of touches. I'd love to see the stat for the number of ball touches that he ends up getting this match. He's winning a lot of these. He's not able to turn them in until right now. It seems like every time I want to talk about them not converting, somebody wants to score the second I speak up. Percy finally gets one in there. He's been beating people, challenges. He's winning his 50s. He's getting to the ball. He's making cheeky touches around the corners, which is opening up the defense. Finally, they convert one. They need to keep that up.
So not much has changed from game 1 to game 2. The early stages dominated by Mirage. Omni Nation answers back with a tally of their own. Near the middle stages, the later mid, but still the middle of the game. We're coming up on the final minute where Mirage seemed to get back into the game. They seem to get the attack rolling in game 1. We'll see if that holds true. Right now, it is all Omni Nation. Lateral pass out, nobody home. So Percy, all he can do is dump it back to midfield, and a little indecisiveness from Percy could be costly. He's still running around. I don't think he knows where to go necessarily. Finally, just pops one out to midfield. He needs a lot of boost though, and he doesn't. Now he does. And that is stopped by Percy, who he has been incredibly important in this series so far, but especially this game. So that one's saved off the goal line. Another save made by Jordan. Omni Nation, they're hanging on by a thread. This game's still tied up, but not for long. No, the shot from J. Russ whistles wide. Freshness now for Luke, and Jordan got up to interfere with the shot.
Yeah, Percy's definitely that man that's making it happen on the Omni side right now. Again, another challenge as he goes up against J. Russ. He's gonna win that one, give it out to Magic Bear. Percy again, right there in the way of Luke, breaks one up, and they're gonna get this ball back down into the blue half.
Sometimes you call it ball cam, sometimes director cam. Hey, you could call it Percy cam. He is in just about every shot. Not at the moment, now he is, but ball's gonna go by him. And it looks like we're headed to overtime. Not a lot of circumstance here in the closing minute or so, except for one close call by Mirage.
And Percy there, as we were saying, involved in just about everything. And that was one of the first missed opportunities for a challenge that I've seen out of him so far in game 2.
J. Russ up the ladder to send this to the wall for himself. Needs to get the ball down in front, but Freshness taken out of the play. Now right down the middle and almost dunked on by Percy. He got a piece of that ball. Can he center? No, he's gonna turn tail and run away. Now Magic Bear. Easily sent off to the corner. This will be right back in though. Percy He's got his handprints all over everything that Omni Nation has done, but Magic Bear could not react to the miss. Still made himself useful as he puts a big ol' hand up and says, stop right there.
He's the man making it happen. Magic Bear comes in, gets that bump on J. Russ, opens it up. Easy shot for Jordan, and they are going to take down match number 2.
And they now take a 2-0 lead in the series, more importantly, with an overtime winner in Game 2. And now for Mirage, as good as they have looked for 2/5 of every game, it has been the other remaining 3/5 that Omni Nation has taken advantage of, and Magic Bear made himself incredibly important there at the end.
Absolutely, yeah, he came in big at the end. He's the one that let that play happen. Had he not been there, J. Russ easily saves that shot. It wasn't anything spectacular. Jordan saw him, though, knew that he just needed to put a ball on net. That's it. Trust him to take out J. Russ. Magic Bear showed up right when he needed to. Between him and Percy, Magic Bear on the defensive half, Percy is always there somehow in the middle of the field. He's just there all the time. And then the pressure between him and Jordan taking shots, they put up 8 shots between the two of them. Ended up working out. Take one down in OT.
Well, we mentioned at the very start of this game, take enough shots and eventually you'll score. And yes, Mirage has scored twice, but that's all they've gotten. They have not had an answer specifically for Percy because, again, he has been everywhere for Omni Nation. He has been omnipotent.
He has been challenging just about everything. It's similar almost to that of what Monkey Moon was doing for me. He's there in the mid. He's also still getting back and getting touches. He's not getting saves, but he's getting the backboard touches. He's getting the corner touches that he needs to get. He is just absolutely everywhere at the moment.
And what you like about Percy, more than you do a lot of other players that tend to take that role where they seem to be everywhere, he's not ball chasing. He is not to the detriment of Omni Nation, but rather to their benefit, a great benefit, that Percy is everywhere he needs to be as another ball is cleared all the way downfield and just demos left and right very early on in Game 3, and you wonder if that's going to be a shift for maybe Mirage to try and play a little more physically because that's what beat them in that overtime.
Nice booming clear from Percy to get that ball out of there. One of the things that Percy's doing well is how quickly he's making those second challenges too. They're not ending up in double commit situations. He'll do a challenge straight into a second one, and they're not ending up out of rotation. And I think that's the most impressive part. The comms have to be super clean for that to occur that way. Jordan trying to chase this one back. J. Russ gonna beat him.
Well, there's only one player that has scored for Mirage. You're looking at him right there, J. Russ. As he beats the defense, caught him napping just outside the first minute. And again, Mirage looking good in the very early stages of every game, but they've got to carry it over to the middle and the end. Omni Nation has taken care of business in the middle of every game. It's almost inevitable they'll score, and they do. It is Magic Bear off the feed from who else but Percy.
Percy's got to have his hand in everything. There's nothing that Percy is not involved in. If you score a goal on the other side, Mirage, just know that it was at the mercy of Percy.
It did not take very long after Mirage scored for Omni to level the score. Jordan, that's going to drop down towards Percy, and perhaps he's human after all. He was not able to catch up to that ball. And now Percy trying to find Magic Bear, but that ball had a little more pace coming in. Still got it to him, and the shot barely saved by Freshness.
So a couple quick shot opportunities that have happened from Mirage. They're doing some of these quick passes to trying to take a shot. Unfortunately, they're doing it from their half or their third of the field, which is just an easy save for the most part unless the other team is committed. I'd like to see them take a bit more control over the ball and try and get in there and create some opportunities rather than just looking to boom them down the field.
I have a feeling if we look at some of the more advanced numbers after this series, Luke's gonna want us not to look at his. We've seen him around constantly, not a lot of touches, not a lot of boost to work with. I mean, he's been out there, but he has been struggling to find his place on the field.
I mean, I can tell you right now, highest on the field's Jordan at a 49.4. Luke is sitting at 16. He is definitely far behind in the number of touches. He's not being able to have really any presence in this match.
Well, Luke will try here. He's got a few touches trying to follow that play up. The ball got away from him, so J. Russ will take over. Luke trying to run interference. Instead, he'll back out and, well, does not opt for that midfield boost. Instead, Freshness ended up with it. Rainbow down, or Waterfall down, and still nothing doing for Mirage, as they remain on just the 1 goal. Again, the only player that scored for them is J. Russ, and there is the man of the hour there to make the save.
J. Russ has been the only man to score, and he's only done 1 goal in each round. So he's getting some stuff done, but not enough. We need Luke, we need Freshness to show up here and get some goals in, or at least get some passes, open up some opportunities, because right now it's looking rough.
Yeah, if you're a fan of soccer, or as some of the European, well, all of the Europeans put it, football, yeah, you're a huge fan of maybe this Omni Nation team, because you see every time they get possession, it's the first touch. They put so much emphasis on getting a good first touch. It throws the oncoming attackers for a loop. I mean, we've seen them just slip right by attackers who should be able to make a challenge, but don't, as Luke creatively tries to get a shot off. But again, you see he's running around with absolutely no boost, and it's impossible to get back in a timely manner.
Finally, it's a little bit of boost, and he jumps out
this is
early.
Dangerous.
Yeah, we talk about him not having boost. He finally gets some, feels the need to go, jumps for this challenge, gets there late. Jordan gets a great 50, opens it up. Percy able to get in there. Once again, getting his hands involved and all over everything.
His 4th goal to go with a pair of assists in this series, and that could be the one that spells the end for Mirage. Magic Bear. And you go back to how that goal was scored. Of course, it comes off a challenge out of the middle. Mirage would hate to lose on that kind of a goal. You'd at least like to maybe make the opposition earn it. Instead, Luke's got to get back. He's the only thing keeping Omni Nation from a 3-1 lead. Now, high off the corner, got around 1. Magic Bear, no, cannot finish the job. And yet again, Mirage hangs on, but only barely with 25 seconds left. Only a sliver of hope to try and tie this game up. Bombed downfield. Freshness tracking this to the side. Down to 13 seconds. Percy now against Luke, and he can just watch this. Got in front of J. Russ, and that's got to be the book on these guys, right? Just stop J. Russ, and you stop Mirage. They did finally, and that will just about do what it does. Omni Nation opens up NA week number 3 with a sweep